This is some guy named Chris, and what I want to go over today is part 3 of actionable messages. So last couple of times we've set up actionable messages, and it was a business analyst that came to me, and they wanted to pull from dynamics on a new lead, send an email, get approval, hit the button or get approval to assign the right person. Once you've signed the right person, it then would send an email or something like that, but it would notify the person that clicked that it was assigned. The business analyst actually just recently came back to me and said, there's going to be 2 people that can approve. So when you start sending a single actionable message and you don't set it up with auto invoke, then one person can change it, but they don't know that the other person has already assigned it. So what we want to do is have a message that when you click on the email, it automatically updates to say whether it's been assigned or not. And today, there are videos out there that do this. Today, I'm going to go over what I did for the part 3 for this client and show you where I hit some caveats and where things worked really well, but just show you at a high level. And at that point, I can send the code, just message me or whatever. I can send you the code of what's done, or a sample message or sample set of scripts or screenshots. It's already built, so it'll go back through, a little more difficult, but let's get started. I'm just going to share my screen for you. And if you remember our original flow, this looks identical to what it really was. When we get a new list, we pull the list of users. We select, we do a select to pull out the username and the full name. And really that's for displaying it in the grid, or the drop down inside of the actionable message. We compose the user list, and then we compose the adaptive card. From the adaptive card, it's the same formatting and email. Same things we've talked about before. The new addition, again, there's great articles out there, is adding in the adaptive card for the auto invoke. And it just adds as a new section. So right here, we've got a body section that comes down to here. And then we've got the schema section for the action. And really, this auto invoke section is pretty much identical to the action, except for it just doesn't have a few things. It doesn't have the body, and it doesn't have target and title, but it still is the action.http. It's still a post, and we're actually using the same URL that we're using here. And even the ID, I actually just accidentally left the same in this, but it's working. And what I've done from the last one is the full name, which can be changed, but really it's just a parameter or value that we're sending across into the receiving flow. I've called it a no name for the action, like the button click, and then I've called it auto invoke for the auto invoke. But then we have the same headers and things, content type and stuff like that. This section here, very simple. Exactly, it's very simple. It's about the receiving side that really caused me issues. So what I learned was when this runs, and I'll give you a little demo in a second here. As soon as you click on the email, it runs, the email actually goes out and looks to see in this link, it runs the request. So it wasn't just when I click the button, it would run. It was anytime I went to that email and I clicked on it, it would run. So what we were running into is I'd go to the email and it would automatically update. And I'm like, well, I need to check something. So what I ended up finding out through a little bit of trial and error and some other good videos, that inside of our request, we need to put some logic. We need to make sure that in the logic, we know, is it an auto invoke? If it's an auto invoke, we need to check to see, well, is it the first auto invoke where we want to keep the message up and wait for the button click? Or is it an auto invoke that already the underlying action is, in our case, the owner on the lead has already changed? So what I built, I'm gonna pull this over, so that side is the same. Inside of our original request, it was very simple. It was, here's received it, compose a message, do a response. Now, in this case, we have to do some checking. So what I've built here is, and I want to expand because it's important to see all of this at one file swoop, is we've got our receiving value that brings in the data and the information that, again, no name, auto invoke, it might have the name of the user we want to change to or the ID, things like that. But to validate, this is where we need to check to see if the owner has already been changed. So what I looked at, trying to use the data that was there, but I figured I could say what users changed it because only certain users had were receiving the message. But I'm like, that's a little bit, I say convoluted, because what if you want to add another person? Then you have to add them here. So what I've done was, in the integration that's happening, whenever the leads are being created, and again, your logic may be different, but whenever the leads are being created, they're going into the system from a form with a very specific user. Now, in our case, I'm putting myself as the user as the test base, but what we've done, so I receive the lead ID from the JSON, pulled over, and what I'm going to do is get the lead details. We have the lead ID, so what I do is I call back to Dataverse, I get the lead. Now, I was hoping that I could return the value from lead details that actually had the full name of the user, but I'm just getting the GUID. So at that point, I do another search, and if somebody has done this before and they can tell me where to go, I'll change it, that'd be great. But here, what I ended up doing was pulling over, getting the lead owner details, which is from the users table. So I pulled the owner from the lead. And what I'm checking, and I'm putting that into a variable, just the full name of the user. And what I'm going to do is, if the full name, which again, that's very misleading, if the value that is being sent in from the original has auto invoke, and again, the name can change. If it has auto invoke and it's not me, if it's not my user, which was the default that went into the system, then we know that it's been updated. One reason we're doing this is because a user can actually update in the actual system as well. And then when the person goes to their email, it would have updated and said, hey, it's been updated by this person. So what we can do is, if it's not me, the default owner, and it's an auto invoke, we're going to come over here and send a response saying the lead has been assigned to this person. Thank you. So they're going to know who it's already been assigned to, which is great. Now, if it is an auto invoke, or it's the no name, or it's me and the auto invoke, which means, again, so there's two different ways to look at this. If it's the auto invoke and it's me, then we know the condition's not met because it says it is not equal to. Or if it's me or somebody else, but it says no name, that means somebody clicked the button. That's the big thing. So they click the button. Now what we have to do is, so there's two paths that come in here. One that's an auto invoke because it's somebody else, or sorry, if it's an auto invoke in me, it still comes in here, but if it's a no name. So then we have to filter out the auto invoke. And if it is an auto invoke, we want it to just show the original message where the button they can click. But if in fact the button has been clicked, which means it's a no name, again, terrible naming scheme, I admit this. If that parameter being passed in says no name, then we know it's not equal to auto invoke, so we're going to go no. And this is where we update the row that we've talked about before. We do compose the value, and then we hit the response. Very similar back to over here, but in this case, we're just saying the lead has been assigned. So let me just show you real quick this doing it. I'm just messaging with one of my staff members. They are helping me with this. But as you can see here, this is the new lead, and we can come in, you can select a name. Now what I'm going to do is wait for my team member to come in. And you can see how every time I click on this, there's this circle. It's thinking, it's reaching out to the URL and going to process. It's coming back on, am I updated or am I not? Enough. So automatically, without me doing anything, it says the lead has been assigned to Emma Thomas. That's the person that actually did it, but never, like, just happened she selected her own name. But you can see how I'm getting updated without any doing anything. This works through the UI, it works through the email. So if someone goes into the email, or I'm sorry, the application and changes it, it'll flow back because it's checking every time. I hope this helps. I know I ran into a couple issues where it was just firing along the way, and then we put the logic in here to do this. If you need any of the code, you need any of the logic, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's pretty simple overall. But this is some guy named Chris. I hope you had a good day. Have a great day. Thank you.